Hi and welcome to the Wappler Virtual Academy. In this course I'll be taking through the development of an entire community portal. That's a website right from start to finish, from project definition right through to final product. I'm hoping that you can squeeze this course in within your 14-day trial of Wappler, and I hope that by the end of it you will be in a position to be able to get the most out of the product. I'm pretty sure that when you've learned all about it, you want to go out and subscribe and stay with the product and be part of this amazing community. So my name's Brian English. If you use the forum, you'll know my name as Hyperbytes, and let's take you through this journey of maximizing your 14-day trial of Wappler. So what's this course going to be about? It's about building, as I say, a community portal. What we're going to be looking at doing is building a business index. We're going to provide facilities for people to add elements of local history to the website, to list local attractions, but also as a support to the community, be able to advertise jobs that are wanted or offered. We're going to have a bit of a for sale type page so that people can advertise items, typically second hand, for sale or wanted, or indeed for free. We're going to have a local events page where people can advertise local events happening in the locality, and ultimately we're going to be going on to providing an online presence for the many cottage industries in this area, with full e-commerce facilities available should they want them. So what we're talking about here, we're talking about a responsive website. That's something suitable for computer, tablet or phone. It's going to be data driven, and it's going to be a secure content managed system. So what does this mean? It means that admins are going to be available to manage the back end. Specific users can manage their own business information, but also the ability for contributors to be able to add local information to the site without being able to see the business information or any secure administration information that's available. So let's have a very quick discussion about the Wappler framework. Wappler has two main frameworks to it. It has App Connect and Server Connect. App Connect is a JavaScript framework, and that handles all of the browser interaction side of the website. So everything that's visual is handled through the App Connect. However, Server Connect deals with all of the server actions. That's your database interactions, your image scaling, your API calls, anything like that. And Wappler offers 4 different platforms for that: Classic ASP, .NET, PHP and Node. Node itself being a JavaScript language, which is actually going to be the language that we're using on this portal. So let's just have a quick run through Jargon Buster. First of all, I'm going to mention the Bootstrap framework, and that really is essential that you have at least a basic overview of what Bootstrap's all about. So if you've never heard of it or you know nothing about it, go over to getbootstrap.com and just have a little read about it. You don't need to know it inside out by any means, but just have a basic understanding of how the Bootstrap framework is applied to allow that certain elements within the screen to be styled in a particular way, and really importantly to also allow elements to be responsive. By responsive, what we mean is the shape or position will change depending on the size of the screen on which the page is shown. In other words, different for a big web page screen, sorry, a big computer screen compared with a small mobile phone screen. We need to mention CSS, cascading style sheets. Basic knowledge of that is advised, but not strictly essential at this stage. But CSS is basically a way of applying a particular styling to an object within your browser screen. And that nicely follows on to the DOM panel, the document object model. Basically, when a page is rendered in a browser, each element is converted into an object, and each object has properties, and the properties of those objects can be found within the document object model, and we have complete control of that within Wappler itself. Now we need to talk about databases, tables and fields. Again, No need to have a great detailed understanding of that at this stage. We'll be working through it. You need to know basically what a database is, what a table is, and what a field is. But other than that, you don't need to know any more detail. SQL is a structured query language. That is basically the language that is used to query a database in order to retrieve information from that database which you require to show on a particular page or use within a server action. FTP, File Transfer Protocol, is a way of uploading your files from your copy of Wappler up to your website. We won't actually be using the FTP process in this particular tutorial. We'll be using another technology called Docker. And Docker does the same thing but in a different way, in terms of it, rather than sending file by file, it effectively pulls all of those files that need to be uploaded into a single zip-like file. It's actually, I believe, a tarball, and then it's exploded on the server itself to retrieve all of the files that are required. And last, you might just hear me mention about shared hosting, dedicated servers, DigitalOcean, Droplets, and S3. Shared hosting is the one that you're probably familiar with most, where you'll sign up with, use a big name, GoDaddy or whatever, and they provide you some space on a server, probably sharing with thousands of other little websites on that particular server. Then you have dedicated server. That's where effectively you have your own server, but obviously not sitting in your office. Generally they will be hosted online, but that server is dedicated purely to you, so that you have more detailed control of the server itself, and obviously you have more power available because you're not sharing that space with lots of other people. DigitalOcean is simply a cloud provider that I'll be talking about at some stages when we're talking about passing your website via Docker to your production website. DigitalOcean follows Droplets. Again, Droplets is really just a term used for your small part of DigitalOcean where your website is hosted. And lastly, S3. S3 is a technology used for storing images, specifically where those images are actually stored in a separate piece of memory, shall we say, to your website itself. So you'll hear those terms. We'll be expanding them on in a lot more detail as we work through this, but for the moment, just familiarize yourself with those terms.